Hi. Designers don't just create objects, they create consequences. And I personally think that we don't talk about that enough. When we design something from a bag, a chair, or any product, even something very small like a keychain, we usually talk about the form it takes, or the functions, or the aesthetics, like how it looks. Is it beautiful? Is it pretty? Is it gonna attract someone? Or the trend it's following, even the market positioning, because it's important to sell it. But almost never about what that object actually does once it enters the world. Because an object is never just an object, it enters a system, and once you start seeing that, you can't really unsee it. So, a story time. When I was in 8th grade, I went to this famous river from India, Ganga River, or someone would call it Ganges, with my family. And there were rituals happening, like people praying, and there were so many ceremonies happening, and there was a lot of devotion, and I could see that people were really feeling spiritual about it. And at the same time, the river was not in a good condition. I was able to see it, and I was so angry about it, about the conditions, and people were so ignorant about it. They were just ignoring that and just doing the thing they were just came there to do. And that pissed me off so much that my family did the ritual and I didn't. I was just standing there waiting for them to get done with it, because I was so angry that how can we ignore the condition the river is in? And hopefully now things are changing, but that day I decided if I'm not going to do anything about these kind of problems, then maybe I don't deserve to be part of nature. I'm sorry, I know it's very strong, but it just came as a realization, and it was very, very like full of anger, frustration, and at the same time devotion, And yeah. So I remember feeling confused and very and honestly very angry, because I didn't know what to do, because no one was listening to me, no one was thinking about those things which I was thinking about, and we were worshipping something we were actively destroying. Isn't that very ironical? And the same thing is happening with this planet, like worldwide, not just in some countries. And that moment still stayed with me, and I still think about it. And I think honestly that specific moment is the reason that I'm thinking in this way, and I'm working as a designer, also very active towards environment and all. And that moment also stayed with me because I realized how easy it is for us to disconnect action from consequences, and to separate intention from impact, you know? And I think we do the same thing in design. Now, whenever I look at an object, I don't see the object itself, I see the material. Where did it come from? How it had been extracted, and how much energy did it take to produce it? Who made it? And how long it will last? And how will it end up? And where? And sometimes it genuinely bothers me that when I walk into stores and see thousands of small plastic pieces like keychain and decorative objects, or things designed to be bought impulsively and forgot just as quickly as they bought it. And they're heavily mass produced and mass consumed and eventually mass discarded. And because of all of this, I find myself asking lots of time, why are we producing so much that means so little to us? I'm not judging here, but in very real way, I'm asking this question to all the designers out there. Designing object isn't the problem. Objects can be beautiful. Craft can be meaningful at the same time, and material can connect us to nature in powerful ways that we cannot even imagine, And the problem is designing without understanding the system those objects enter. Because every object requires material extraction, energy, labor, transportation, and so much more. Every object shapes behavior, every object influences desire, and it also shapes culture, the culture we live in, what we believe in, our values are shaped by it. All the big brands, all the famous luxurious brands also have this sense, right? They're creating a culture, they're creating meaning, they're creating value all the same time. And And every object eventually becomes either waste or a legacy, because some objects are considered like heritage or they are in heirloom or something like that, whether we acknowledge this fact or not. This is something I've been thinking about deeply in my own work. See, I love stuff, I love objects, I love material, I love like so many different techniques, like one of them 3D printing. I've been experimenting with biomaterials and the sense of luxury, not because I want to add another object to the world, but because I'm questioning what luxury even means. If luxury costs nature, is it still luxury? Would you still consider it luxury? If something is exclusive but destructive, what exactly are we celebrating? Try to answer that question to yourself. Can luxury be responsible? And can it respect material design or material origin? Can it reconnect to nature instead of separating us from it? These are the main questions I keep thinking about. And obviously, right now I don't have perfect answers, but I'm still experimenting. But I know I can't design blindly. I can't pretend an object is neutral anymore, because it isn't. It's creating a lot of stories out there. Maybe that specific moment at the river shaped me more than I realized. Maybe it wasn't just about the plastic, and maybe it was about the ignorance we as humans have. And I think as designers, we have a responsibility not to just stay ignorant about these things, not to just treat aesthetics isolated, and not to just treat products as harmless, because they are not. Every object carries a story of extraction, of power, of labor, and of responsibility, obviously. And once you see that, I don't think you can go back from that and just design things. So I'm not saying to stop designing objects. I'm just saying to design them consciously. Understand the material origin, understand how things are going to affect the whole system that the object is going to enter. Because designers don't just create objects, they create consequences. And I'm still figuring out what that really means for me, to be in like exact terms. But I'd love to know what it means for you. Thank you.